A pair of losers hit the jackpot when they stumble upon a sultry humanoid female robot, unaware that she already belongs to a dangerous man. German company HotBot Corporation is beta testing a new line of lifelike pleasure robots for American consumers. However, the company has yet to receive U.S. patent approval for its technology and hopes to make its case in Congress. Curious about their products, a reporter interviews HotBot inventor Dr. Heinrich Schaffer, who brings one of his creations for demonstration. However, the interview takes an unexpected turn when the HotBot begins engaging in inappropriate behavior toward the hesitant reporter. With the interview turning raunchy, this report never made air. Nonetheless, Dr. Schaffer forwards the tape to U.S. Senator Biter. Impressed, the sleazy senator agrees to vouch for HotBot in Congress in exchange for getting one of his own. In particular, he wants the gorgeous blonde named Bardot. Days later, Bardot arrives in Salt Lake City in a discreet crate as two Secret Service agents, Frazier and Kuntz, pick her up for delivery. Inside a local diner's kitchen, shy and scrawny teenager Limus Huffington and his rambunctious best friend Leonard Stupensky are busy with their jobs. Their seemingly mundane shift, however, turns for the worse when their school bully, Rodney, and his girlfriend Cassidy pull up for drive-thru using the ladies' sports car. Instantly recognizing Limus's voice, Rodney proceeds to make his order in the most condescending manner. Not willing to let it slide, Leonard then retaliates by dropping his specialty in the food order, a deep-fried flambe. A scuffle ensues between the bully and the two servers after Cassidy greets Limus, who also happens to be her friend. After the customers leave, the manager scolds the employees for making a ruckus and sends them home. As the agents make their way to deliver the package, they start hearing strange noises inside the crate. Worried, they decide to open the box. Unfortunately for them, Bardot manages to beat them up and escape. After informing the senator what happened, the agents drive off to find the HotBot. Meanwhile, as Limus and Leonard head home, they accidentally hit something. The terrified Limus steps out of the car to check, and to his horror, he finds a scantily clad lady. Afraid of getting in trouble with the police, the friends agree to hide the body in Limus's room while they figure out what to do next. Before heading home, Leonard suggests that his friend take advantage of the woman's lifeless body while he can. This leaves Limus embarrassed and confused. The following day, the agents are still searching for the HotBot while Limus's conservative family heads to church. With his family away, Limus wakes up only to find the woman's body gone. He calls his best friend in a panic, so Leonard soon arrives with a chainsaw, thinking that the woman has turned into a zombie. Upon hearing something in the bathroom, the friends get ready to attack, but the door opens, revealing Bardot in perfect condition after taking a shower. She calmly greets them and nonchalantly asks if they want to make love with her. With the two stunned, the HotBot then walks to the bedroom and they follow her. There, she removes the towel, making the men hardly able to contain their excitement. Leonard motions for his inexperienced friend to go and mate with her while he watches. Limus vehemently objects, as he'd rather do the deed in private. With that, Leonard begrudgingly leaves the two alone. Bardot then proceeds to flirt with Limus, but before they can take things further, she seemingly passes out. Confused, Limus yells for Leonard, and as the two inspect the body, they finally realize that she's a robot. Meanwhile, the agents meet with Senator Biter to give an update. They assure him that while they haven't found the pleasure doll yet, they'll be able to trace anyone who attempts to use her with the help of HotBot Corporation. Elsewhere, the men take the doll to Benny, the owner of a shop for adult items, hoping that he can switch her back on. After examining her body, the shop owner realizes that they must connect her to Wi-Fi first. However, when they do, this alerts the agents to Bardot's location. Benny proceeds to print a copy of the HotBot's manual. In it, they discover that the more she learns and loves, the more human she becomes. Moreover, she'll eventually be able to process original thoughts and form her own opinions, which Leonard doesn't particularly appreciate. As a last step to activating her, Benny demands for Limus's credit card. The kid declines, worried that his dad might get upset since it's only for emergencies. However, the quick-witted Leonard advises his pal to think of his inexperience as an emergency situation. Desperate to get some action, Limus relents, swiping his credit card between Bardot's lips. With that, Bardot finally returns to life. To the absolute delight of the men, they shop for some clothes for her before taking her back home. On the way, Bardot even demonstrates her impressive navigational skills, which allow her to suggest hotels where they can do the deed. To learn more about what she can do, the friends then split the hundreds of pages of the manual to read before parting ways. Limus gets to take the robot first, so he takes it slow and invites Bardot to dance with him. Before they can get comfortable, however, Limus's mom walks in on them. She reminds her son about their rules of having no ladies in his room. Because of this, Limus takes the HotBot to his sister's playhouse instead, where she can stay in the meantime. Later that night, Limus tries to sneak back into the playhouse to be with the robot, but his watchful dad catches him, sending him back to bed. The following morning, he checks in on Bardot and asks her to wait until he returns from school. While he's away, his sister, Jacoby, discovers Bardo in her playhouse. True to her upbringing, the kid happily grabs the opportunity to share her beliefs with the robot, whom she thinks is a real person. After school, Limus and Leonard are startled to find Jacoby with Bardo. Even worse, the kid has successfully converted the robot to her conservative ways, with Bardo now being preachy about the sanctity of lovemaking. Limus attempts to deprogram her, but Bardo is having none of it, implying that if he really likes her, he has to put a ring on it. The agents, meanwhile, arrive at Benny's store to retrieve the pleasure doll. However, the shop owner won't cooperate, so the two start getting physical with him. After having his own merchandise used on him, Benny eventually caves in and reveals that Limus has the HotBot. Acting swiftly, the agents then start making calls to investigate the teen. Since Jacoby has convinced Bardo that she should be with a man before marriage, the friends wonder about buying a ring. However, Leonard discourages his friend from fortifying his sister's beliefs in the robot. Instead, they take Bardo to the arcade while coming up with a different plan. During this, Cassidy greets the men, unaware that her boyfriend just bumped into Bardo and is flirting with the HotBot. Leonard and Limus see this, and the latter aggressively approaches the bully to tell him to back off. However, Rodney laughs at them, assuming that the woman is their babysitter. He then hands Bardo a calling card, inviting her to his weekend party. On their way home, the men receive a call from Benny, who frantically warns them of the FBI agents trying to get the HotBot back. Just then, they nearly crash into the agent's car, so Leonard puts the vehicle in reverse and starts a chase. The friends try to use Bardo's navigational skills to escape, but unfortunately, her software isn't updated, so her version of the neighborhood is outdated. With this, Leonard improvises and heads straight to a railway area. There, he makes a sharp turn in front of an oncoming train, screaming as he does. This successfully allows them to lose the agents. Knowing that the agents already have their info, Limus and Leonard check Bardo in a motel to keep her safe. While there, Bardo wonders what the agents want her for. Limus struggles to answer this, so she wonders if he wants her for the same reason as the other men. He insists that he's different, because he actually likes her. This makes the robot pause, so the teen just tells her to stay in the motel with Benny since he has to go home to his parents. With that, he says goodbye and leaves. Outside, he and Leonard warn Benny not to do anything naughty with Bardo before leaving. In an empty hall, Senator Biter is practicing his speech for an upcoming rally when the agents approach him to report Bardo's whereabouts. While unsure where she is, they know who took her, so the senator demands they bring him to that person. Not long after, Limus wakes up in the middle of the night to find the senator sitting on his bed. The politician quickly calms him down, sympathizing with him since he can tell that the teen isn't that good with the ladies. He admits that he hasn't been with a real woman either, so he insists that Limus bring Bardo back the following morning, promising that it'll be the end of the story afterward. He then tucks the teenager back in bed, only to follow it up with a menacing order to return his robot. The threat leaves Limus wide awake until morning, so he and Leonard rush back to the motel. There, Benny tells them that he tried to fix Bardo's views, but he discovered that she's not even aware that she's a robot. Unbeknownst to them, the robot overhears their conversation, making her wonder about her existence. Just as the three are conversing, the agents arrive at the motel with backup, so the men dash back to Bardo's room to hide. While trying to devise an escape plan, Limus professes his willingness to die for Bardo, which apparently touches the HotBot. In contrast, Leonard thinks this is a hostage situation, so he demands pizza from the agents outside. Desperate to escape, Benny tries to fight his way out, but Frazier easily knocks him out. With no other options, Limus and Leonard plan to sneak out through the bathroom, only for the agents to storm in and take them away. While the teens are stuffed into the back of Leonard's car, Frazier escorts Bardo to their vehicle. However, she demands that he let go of her, and when he doesn't, she knocks him out. The robot proceeds to showcase her combat abilities and effortlessly defeats the remaining agents. The teens then ask her to release them, but the robot realizes that her presence has endangered their lives, so she bids them farewell and walks away. While Bardo wanders, Rodney sees her and takes her with him. Meanwhile, the friends finally make their way out of the trunk, thanks to Leonard's chainsaw. Back at their job at the diner, Limus and Leonard are dejected, puzzled as to why the HotBot walked away. To make matters worse, Rodney reappears, now accompanied by Bardo. The tormentor proudly boasts about doing what they couldn't do with her before speeding off. This leaves Limus heartbroken, so his friend suggests getting her back during Rodney's house party. That evening, the party begins, and Rodney dances provocatively around Bardo as the HotBot mindlessly plays along. This triggers the wrath of his girlfriend, who swiftly slaps him before leaving the scene in tears. Once she storms off, Rodney just laughs at Cassidy's reaction, until Bardo mimics the woman and slaps him too. Outside, Cassidy finds Limus and Leonard, who are just about to crash the party. She vents out her frustration about her boyfriend, but Rodney follows her and throws out the duo upon seeing them. However, Bardo sees this and steps forward to protect the teens. With ease, she beats up the bully, leaving him knocked out on the snow. Bardo then leaves with her friends, even volunteering to drive. While driving, the HotBot notices Kuntz and Fraser following them. At the Huffington household, Limus's father discovers the credit card statement, indicating a staggering $76,000 balance, including an expense for a motel stay. The parents end up blaming each other for the purchases, until finally, the husband contacts the bank to investigate the charges and freeze his account. Since she needs an active credit card to function, the account freeze leads Bardo to shut down while behind the wheel, causing them to crash. Fortunately, the teens survive the accident unscathed. When they return to the Huffingtons' house, however, both of their parents confront them about the outrageous credit card bill. The mothers wonder if the two might have romantic feelings for each other, which could explain their motel visit. This further embarrasses their sons until Leonard snaps and storms off, with Limus following him. Knowing that they're both in trouble, Leonard apologizes to his friend for convincing him to use the credit card, which led them to this. The two then part ways, accepting the fates that await them at their homes. Meanwhile, Senator Biter is finally with Bardo. He gazes affectionately at her, observing a white liquid emerging from her face. The car accident caused damages, so she needs repairs. Worried, the politician orders the agents to wipe her clean and stay with her. Deeply saddened by the loss of Bardo, Limus texts his best friend the next day about how much he misses the robot. He even professes affection for her, declaring that she's his first love. Leonard, however, reminds him that Cassidy is his first love. Limus agrees, though he's unsure how to get her to fall in love with him. Days after, Cassidy sits beside Limus in the cafeteria, seeing that he looks to be mourning alone. Surprisingly, the man confides about falling in love with a robot, so she empathizes with that, revealing that her now ex-boyfriend had a stronger attachment to her car than to her. She then confesses how she misses hanging out with Limus, as the two are both Star Trek fans. This successfully reconnects their friendship. At home that night, Limus's father decides to have a conversation with his son, noticing that he's been down lately. Being a luggage inspector at the airport, he assures his son that he can handle any baggage since he's seen a lot of weird things from people. He encourages his son to entrust him with his own challenges, and Limus thanks him for this. While taking the trash out later, Limus spots an invitation for Senator Biter's upcoming rally inside the bin. He shows this to Leonard, who instantly understands what the senator's promise for the future means. Soon enough, the friends disguise themselves in tuxedos and fake beards to sneak into the rally. Inside the venue, while the senator delivers his speech, the two begin their search backstage for Bardo. They eventually find her in the dressing room, but she's unresponsive. Fearing that her memory had been wiped, Leonard suggests that they just take her. Hearing this, her eyes suddenly open, and she recognizes Limus. However, the agents also arrive and throw them out. Luckily, Benny arrives to save the day. He knocks out the agents with his nunchucks before escaping with Bardo. The other agents soon chase after them, so the group makes a run around the confusing venue. During this, the senator attempts to introduce the robot to his audience, insisting that she will be their future. However, she doesn't arrive on stage. Instead, Bardo releases liquid onto a ramp, which makes the floor too slippery for the agents to catch them. This allows the group to escape. While in the car, Limus asks Benny to drive to the airport to send Bardo away. He decides that he can't let the bad guys find her, so he'll use his dad's frequent flyer miles to send her far away. At the airport, Limus's dad greets them and helps his son and Bardo get to their gate, revealing that the love-struck teen has confessed the truth to him. Once they're there, Limus hands Bardo her boarding pass while the agents are stopped at the checkpoint. Limus and Bardo say their last goodbyes, with the teen confessing his love for her. The HotBot sheds a tear, and also admits to falling in love with him, something she didn't think was possible. She then kisses him, and advises Limus to own his first experiences. With that, the HotBot boards her plane, assuring her hero that she's now safe. Days later, Limus returns to his post at the drive-thru booth. However, this time, the atmosphere takes a more delightful turn when Cassidy arrives, inviting him on a date. Taking his beloved robot's advice, Limus takes the chance on his first date and excitedly leaves his booth to join Cassidy. Together, they set off on their next adventure with the right person beside them.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.